Welcome to Talent on Tap. My name is Brendan Brown. I head up recruiting at LinkedIn. And some big news to share today. After 10 and a half years at LinkedIn, I have decided to move on to my next play. And it has been an incredibly wild, fun, transformative run. It's been the career run of a lifetime. It's been life-changing, career-changing, and it's been such a privilege. And to wrap things up, we wanted to have one final episode of Talent on Tap, which we've been doing for nearly 5 years. So I thought it was only appropriate to have one final episode to look back at all the learnings over the past 10 plus years. So let's get into it. So when I started LinkedIn, we were under 1,000 people. The main LTS products we had were Recruiter and job slots. And obviously a lot has changed since then. So we went from under 1,000 people to over 16,000 plus people today and continuing to grow. So it has been an incredible story about growth and scale, all focused on hiring the best possible people we can to power the company. And obviously the products have gone from just a couple LTS products to a variety of things that really have transformed the profession we all work in, talent acquisition. So a tremendous amount has changed in recruiting. Some things have stayed the same. The biggest changes in my mind have been the proliferation of data, which probably sounds cliche because everyone talks about data, has been talking about data. But if you think back to prior to 10 years ago, you might be paying people a lot of money to find a name, just a name and a contact number for a prospect. We have gone from really doing things very manually, doing things very one-off, to ability to get a deep set of information around prospects, candidates, trends, patterns that we've never had before. I mean, I think about the fact that simply by virtue of LinkedIn being what it is, understanding where talent is, it's not hard to find people, to identify people. It's a pretty straightforward process. If I want to know who the vice president of engineering is at a certain company, I can find out. If I want to know if I'm connected to them indirectly, I can find that out. But the proliferation of data through things like LinkedIn Talent Insights, through spotlights features to know, hey, this candidate is someone who has been following our company. This is someone who interviewed 3 years ago. This is someone who has a first-degree connection of influence. This person has posted interesting content related to the job we want to recruit for, puts the recruiting team, puts the recruiter themselves in a position of tremendous influence. And that is something that is very, very different than it was prior to me starting at LinkedIn. So that's probably the biggest headline over the time that I've been here at LinkedIn. So there's a lot that excites me about the future of talent acquisition. So we've got this data that's now available, which we used to have to find some way to get our hands on even a small portion of it. It's now available at scale. So now that we have all this interesting data to identify the right talent, understand geographies, gain insights about talent pools, specifics about candidates we want to recruit in a new and different way, that is amazing. And I think then it puts the premium on the human side of recruiting. And I believe the people that are going to be the biggest superstars in recruiting going forward will be the people who use that data to be more effective, but they use it to be more human, meaning that if I want to recruit Margaret, who is an incredible recruiting operations leader, there's a lot of information I can get about who she is. And when I tell her the story of the company I'm representing, I can do it in a very personalized, tailored way. Not only that, just telling your company's story, I see still so many recruiters falling short in terms of really taking the time to paint a mind-blowing, incredible picture about the company that they represent. Grabbing people's mind share, grabbing people's attention in a creative, different way is how you can change the experience that a candidate has. So things like that are going to matter. Influence and advising your hiring managers, being someone they look to for guidance and advice. I think people who do those types of things, the human elements of talent acquisition, are the folks that are really going to stand out above the rest. One other thing that in terms of making sure that we have attention from prospects and from candidates is marketing. I mean, employment branding, talent branding, not a new idea. Recruitment marketing, not a new concept at all. But with all of this rich data that's available, the degree that we can get targeted around people to personalize messages, personalize advertising, personalize content. I mean, I'm a huge fan of ads. Ads are great, but content that I care about. If someone sort of advertised to me, but they were availing to me an incredibly powerful framework that I could use or white paper that I might want to read and make myself better at my craft, that is a relationship that I would value. So as you think about your day-to-day, and this just doesn't go for the recruiting leader or the employment branding person on your team, this can go for you as an individual recruiter when educating hiring managers on not just sourcing, but in parallel, how do we want to do one-to-many communication, one-to-many content marketing? And that is also an opportunity to get super duper creative. I think the more creative people have been in doing that work, the more attention they get. I mean, there have been campaigns I've seen and interesting ways that people have marketed that have hit my desk because people have sent it to me and said, hey, check this out. This is so different and unique. That is how you differentiate your brand as a recruiter, your brand as a company, your brand as an employer. So, biggest misperceptions about recruitment, talent acquisition is probably viewing the function as transactional. I'm a hiring manager, hire me somebody. And I think there's an opportunity to make sure that we're educating and executing the work we do in a way that demonstrates we're obviously going to deliver, but we also have a huge strategic role to play. So things like we now all have information at our fingertips where we should be able to educate a hiring manager on which geographies have the best talent, most appropriate talent for their role, where we might want to open up a satellite office so we can recruit some of that best talent. That is a meaningful and powerful strategic conversation. Making sure that you understand the dynamics within a team that you're hiring for. I find oftentimes recruiters are great instinctual people that have good people perception of their own, where they can understand, hey, this team doesn't look like it's gelled quite enough. Or as we're doing a kickoff, I can see that there's not alignment on this role or how we're going to assess for this role or what the must-haves are. So there's even some things around organizational effectiveness, organizational design, organizational structure. These things are all massively, massively strategic. There's also things like educating to make sure that we set expectations around how quickly we may hire or not so the business can deliver its product roadmap or have salespeople in seat to sell. So we are very, very tied to the business from a strategic level. And what's more, just educating your hiring managers on what you do is one step in the right direction. We had an episode where we talked about laying out the timeline of a search, which oftentimes takes 70, 80, 90, 100, 120 days. Hiring managers often don't even understand why that is the case. But if you break down the process to them, all of a sudden they start realizing, there's way more to this job of a recruiter than I once realized. So be active, be an educator, and balance that strategic mindset with the need to deliver and execute well. So best advice that I have received, been a lot of good advice over the years, was the use of the phrase, I'm concerned. And we've done episodes on it in the past, so definitely check it out for the more in-depth overview of this concept. But why it's been such powerful advice for me is that I've used it at every single stage of my recruiting career, every single stage. And really what it boils down to is, I just asked you this, is there a hiring manager interviewing team that you've got concerns about today? Are they maybe not giving you feedback? Feedback's late, quality of feedback is poor, maybe hiring manager owes you a job spec, they haven't done it yet. Maybe they need to deliver some messages about their new org design that they're gonna now recruit against and they haven't done it effectively or done it in a timely fashion. Maybe this candidate said they'd call you 3 o'clock on Thursday, it's now 3 o'clock on Friday, you haven't heard from them. Are you concerned? Clearly you're concerned. I'd be concerned as a recruiter. But what I see at times is that feedback that you should be giving, that candor that you should be bringing to bear can get watered down. I've been in situations where I kind of blow it off and might say, I'm not going to get into that. That is a fail, in my opinion, because you have such an opportunity to up-level your ability to influence and be credible and be an expert in the practice and the craft by letting people know when you're concerned, when there's an issue. So in any one of those situations, maybe it's the interview panel not giving feedback at all, or maybe it's poor feedback. My question is, if you're concerned, would you share that you're concerned? And oftentimes people say, I'm not going to share it, or I haven't shared it. I've found that just the words "I'm concerned" in this type of fashion, if I'm concerned with you, I just say, "I'm calling you today because I'm concerned." And you have to pause, because whoever talks first loses. But you might then say, "Brendan, whoa, what are you concerned about?" Then I have a very clear opening to say, "Well, I'm really concerned because we need feedback within 24 hours of your interview. And not only have you been not doing it in a timely fashion, the feedback is lacking. It's really kind of low quality. I'm happy to help you improve your feedback quality, but we need to get that feedback in, and it needs to be high quality because every one of our candidates is a LinkedIn member. We care about the candidate experience. They will either be a net promoter or net detractor for our brand, and we really need to get it right. Is that something that we can work on together?" And typically it changes the relationship between recruiter and hiring manager, and also recruiter or candidate. So it's a powerful, powerful concept that you can use in sort of any facet of your professional life, anytime you have a concern. So try it out, see what you think, and let me know. So that is a quick recap. It surely does not cover all the things that we tackled in nearly 5 years of Talent on Tap episodes. Please be sure to go back and check out some of the past shows where we covered a lot of topics, and the guests that we've had have been phenomenal. So I want to thank each and every one of them. There's so much good advice there that I still use today, day to day, in everything that I do. So definitely comb through past episodes and see what's going to be best to help you be successful. I also want to thank the entire media productions crew at LinkedIn who helped put the show together, that have produced it, directed it, edited it, delivered it. The blog team, the LTS blog team, that has been a big part of this as well. Huge shout out to them. And most of all to you, the viewers who have tuned in to check out the content, offer feedback. And I have learned a tremendous amount through that feedback. So I'd love to stay connected. If we're not connected on LinkedIn, feel free to hit me up, and hopefully we can continue to learn together as we blaze into the future of talent acquisition. So with that, thank you. I wish you the best in your career. Stay safe and stay well.